Hi everyone, this is Sharon from sharonatsea Travel, and we have been waiting for a couple more cruise lines to come out with some announcements on whether or not they're going to be suspending future sailings. Well, the announcements have finally come out today, and we're going to get into it right after this. So we are going to be talking about Royal Caribbean and Norwegian Cruise Line. So let's start with Royal Caribbean. Now, they have not officially made the announcement on their website as of now. It is still saying that they are only suspended through June 11th. Although Michael Bailey has announced that later today he will be announcing further global suspension through July 31st of this year, 2020. So, and this will include all sailings except China. So once it's announced, you can also check out the sharonatsea Travel Facebook page. I will be posting there what they will be offering for their guests. I can only imagine it's going to be the same, the 125% future cruise credit or full refund options. But stay tuned for that, hopefully coming this afternoon. I was able to sit in on a talk this morning with Richard Fain, a chairman and CEO at Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, and he answered a few questions, kind of talked a little bit about what's going on. I'm just going to kind of go through a few things that he had mentioned. One big thing out there that is kind of all over the internet and people are talking about is the buffets on all the cruise lines. What's going to be happening? There's been talk of Royal Caribbean having, going kind of buffetless, no buffet, just more like a sit-down meal. They've been talking about just the crew serving the guests and so many different options out there with all the cruise lines. He kind of mentioned that it's just a new wave right now. They're still looking for ideas, innovative procedures and things to keep their guests safe. And one thing he mentioned is they may not necessarily totally get rid of the buffet. They may just do the buffet in a different way, which he mentioned the crew serving the guests versus the guests serving themselves. So we'll see how that actually pans out down the road, what they come up with. They're working with so many experts out there in the field to come up with new protocols and procedures to keep everyone environmentally safe during this time. He also mentioned that, although all the cruise lines do compete in some way or another, with sales and all different things amongst the ships, some of the amenities they're offering and things like that, that all of their guests are in their best interest, and they do reach out to other CEOs of other cruise lines, and they do work together. They are working together on this to make sure all the ships are as safe as possible when the guests return to sailing. That the safety of their guests is at the utmost importance with all the cruise lines, including Royal Caribbean. And during this time that they are not sailing, they will be coming up with new innovative ideas. They are going to continue to work on things, and hopefully once we are back to sailing, they will have all kinds of new things in the works for us to keep us safe. And I am really excited myself to kind of just see what they have in store for us, what the new wave of cruising is going to be. I'm sure it's going to be just as wonderful as it was before. It's just going to be something new that we're going to maybe have to get used to a few things. So that's the announcement on Royal Caribbean as of now. Like I said, we'll keep you posted. You can actually check out royalcaribbean.com when they make the announcement. I'm sure it will be listed on there. Also, you can check out the sharonatsea Travel Facebook page. I will also make the official announcement of what they will offer their guests when the official announcement comes through, which should be later today. So now let's move on to Norwegian Cruise Lines, who have already made their announcement that they are suspending their global operations through July 31st of 2020 as well. Now, Norwegian Cruise Lines, they will be offering the same thing as they've been offering before. They will be offering 125% future cruise credit or a full refund. One thing I will like to mention, and this is kind of back to the same with Royal Caribbean, is if you decide to choose a refund, the normal refund used to take a week to 10 days or so. They're taking a lot longer with all these mass cancellations. So keep in mind, your refund right now with both of those cruise lines can be anywhere from 30 to 45 days. And, there's a potential for it even becoming longer than that down the road as more cancellations occur. Now, I get a lot of questions on what a future cruise credit can be used for. some of the rules and about future cruise credits, just in general. So I'm going to go over a few questions that I have been asked that apply to Norwegian Cruise Lines. Now keep in mind, these are questions just for Norwegian Cruise Lines. Although most cruise lines are very similar, they may not be exactly the same. So let's start with a few things that will be applied to your future cruise credit. So I have a few notes here on some of them just so that I don't miss anything. Cruise fare and taxes, flight arrangements that were booked through Norwegian Cruise Lines, hotels, and cruise tours, packages that were booked through Norwegian Cruise Lines, shore excursions booked through Norwegian Cruise Lines, the beverage and dining gratuities if they are part of the free at sea promotions offered, prepaid service charges, also your travel insurance if it's booked through Norwegian Cruise Lines. Although keep in mind, the travel insurance, there is a time frame sometimes on those to when you have to use them. Another good question I've received is, can you use a future cruise credit for more than one cruise? So if you have like some leftover future cruise credit, what happens to it? Yes, you can use it on an additional cruise. So say if one of your future cruise credit pays off one cruise and you have additional leftover, you can apply that to an additional sailing. Another question that is commonly asked is, if you have travel arrangements made outside the cruise line, such as airfare, maybe outside shore excursions, things like that, will the cruise line cover those costs? Now that answer is no. And personally, I don't think they are liable for those costs. If they're booked through the cruise line, they will, like I said, but they encourage people then to reach out to the airlines or to those shore excursion companies and see what their refund policies are as well. I know most airlines right now are making some exceptions from their normal policies where they are giving refunds or future flight credits depending on the flight and timing of your flight. So just reach out to your airlines on that. And the same with most shore excursion companies. If it's a reputable company, they will usually refund usually 100%. So just reach out to them and see what their policies are. Another question I get commonly is, how does the future cruise credit work as far as being split up amongst guests in the cabin? So does it all go to one guest? Does it get split up equally amongst all the guests? How Norwegian typically does it is they give the amount that your booking says you paid for that cruise to that individual person. So for example, a lot of times guests one and two usually pay the same amount, so they would get the same amount. If you have a guest 3 or 4 in the cabin, they usually pay less. Usually 3rd and 4th guests are a little less. So in that case, their future cruise credit will be less as well. So it's whatever it shows on your booking that particular person paid for the cruise, that's what their future cruise credit will be. Here's something that has happened quite a bit during this with all the cancellations and then more cancellations. So someone had asked me, what happens if a canceled booking has a previous future cruise credit already applied? The original future cruise credit will be added back to the guest profile, and then they will receive a new future cruise credit for the outstanding amount. Here's a few things that the future cruise credit cannot be applied to: amenities, dining and beverage packages that are not part of the free at sea promotions, internet packages that are not part of the free at sea promotions, shore excursions booked while on board credit, water and soda packages, bottles of wine, bon voyage gifts and celebration packages, or photo packages. So those are just a few things that the future cruise credit cannot be used for. Another question I receive is in regards to, sometimes a person will book a cruise, you get some extra perks, maybe onboard credit or something with that promotion, and then say that was the canceled cruise. They ask, will that onboard credit or that promotion be moved to the future sailing that they book? Well, that answer is no. Once your cruise is canceled, any extra perks, promotions, anything like that get canceled with that booking as well. So you will just receive what is available at the time of your new booking. And I'm going to end this with a little message from Norwegian Cruise Lines that they have put out there for all of their guests. The safety, security, and well-being of our guests, crew, and communities we visit is our #1 priority. We continue to closely monitor the COVID-19 coronavirus situation and the global health environment. With COVID-19 continuing to impact communities and ports around the globe, we have extended our voluntary temporary suspension of voyages. We are committed to taking all appropriate steps and actions to combat the spread of COVID-19. While this may result in additional future changes, please know our teams are working around the clock to do what is right for our guests and travel partners. We continue to monitor the situation closely, and we will provide additional updates as they become available. So that is a little message from Norwegian Cruise Lines. Once again, I think all the cruise lines are doing their best to try to, keep us safe. They don't want us to be out there sailing until they are ready for us to come back and sail safely. So I do appreciate that with the cruise lines. I would not want to be on the ship that did not have my best interest, at heart and keeping us safe. So sorry for the bad news for anyone booked on a Norwegian or a Royal cruise today. I know it's disappointing. We're all disappointed when our sailings get canceled. I've personally had that happen to myself as well. But we will be sailing again in the future, and we just have to get through this, stay safe, and once we get back to cruising, there may be a little bit of new kind of wave, new things out there for us to kind of take in, but I think it's going to be a good thing. Changes come with everything. We've had changes in the past, we've dealt with them fine, we've moved on, and this is just going to be a new change that we'll deal with, move on, and enjoy cruising again. So if you are not subscribed to our channel, feel free to subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell so you'll get notified when we post new videos or when we go live. We go live every Monday evening from 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and we talk about cruising amongst other things and just have a good time on Monday nights. So come join the fun. Until next time, I'm going to say it because I know we're going to be cruising again. Happy cruising and safe travels.